Hey guys, hope you're doing well. In this mod review, we're going to be reviewing the Tesla style screen from Phoenix Automotive. Now there's definitely a lot to this unit, so you can't really say if it's good or bad based on certain aspects of the experience. So I've compiled everything I possibly could, from the research to the install to the daily use of it, to find the 5 things I love about this unit and the 5 things I hate about this unit. We're going to start off with the 5 things I hate about this unit. Now I will say hate is a bit of a stretch. It's more so dislike / find an inconvenience, but that's too long for a title, so we're going with hate. Number 1. System settings. So if you're going to change any of the system settings on the unit, you'll find that it's pretty confusing right off the bat because a lot of the options don't really make sense. Some of them aren't even in English, and it makes it to where if you need to adjust something, you're probably needing some outside perspective to tell you what to do, because it's never actually explained to you what these options are and more specifically what they're for. And it is pretty tedious because these are functions of the unit, such as the AC. If you mess something up, you're not really sure how to get it back. The silver lining though, once you get them working and figured out, you really don't need to mess with them anymore. Number 2, some features end up no longer being usable. One of them is this backup camera right here, which did come factory on my car. Now the new unit does have a new connection point for a new backup camera, which means you can upgrade it pretty easily. However, this one becomes kind of pointless, because as soon as you put the vehicle in reverse, a backup camera screen comes up, but it's a new screen, so you're not really using this one anymore. Now it is still functioning. Occasionally there is a delay and you're still getting the feed from this camera, but there's really no way to access it. So it's either get a new camera and connect it to the new unit, or tap into this one, which does take away some of the plug and play feasibility and ease of install. But the factory functionality of this one is pretty much gone. Number 3. The aspect ratio. This screen is pretty massive, and that is something I really do enjoy about it, but for certain apps and certain features, it makes it to where it's not going to give you the best overall experience because the aspect ratio is not fitted to the screen. I was under the impression that it'd be somewhat similar to a phone's 9:16 ratio, being that it is a vertical screen, but I found out that it's not, and honestly I found it to be more of an issue in games. If you're on a specific screen and you're trying to exit out, it's not always easily doable. But I will note, however, that Android Auto and CarPlay are perfectly used in their aspect ratio, so there's no issue there, which is what I use daily. Number 4, the AC controls. Piggybacking off of the aspect ratio, the AC and sometimes even the radio controls can be a little inconvenient in how low that they actually are. In this scenario, it is obstructed by the shifter, so you don't always have the easiest path to adjust those settings. However, I will say that using the steering wheel controls makes it to where it's not much of an issue. But in other vehicles that might not have steering wheel controls like this, I can see it being a little bit more of an inconvenience. Now, I do understand the functionality of why the AC controls are incorporated to this unit, because the AC controls from the factory actually piggybacked off of the radio controls. They were all in the same area, but me personally, I do like the feeling of adjusting a knob for the AC controls. Comparatively, I did pick up this Tesla style screen from iDoing for Yvette's Impreza, and this unit actually does retain the factory AC control, so you still have the 3 knobs on the bottom, which makes the usability and feasibility of installing this a lot easier. But I gotta imagine that if this vehicle came with a knob for the AC controls from the factory, it would probably be retained. Number 5, notifications. So this is something that I do hate. The notifications on this unit are pretty inconsistent. When I initially set this unit up, I turned off all notifications. I don't really care to get a notification if an app has an update or I get a message on TikTok or something. So I basically turned all those off. But every once in a while, I would hear a very loud and irritating chime. I could not figure out what it was. I figured maybe it was Waze, but I realized that I had all my sound off for Waze as well, just basically displaying the visual of the map. To this day, I cannot find what that chime is. I figure maybe it's an app that I downloaded that for whatever reason can break through the notification settings, but that's the really annoying part. It's not clear what it is because I hear the noise, but I don't get any visual on the screen. Now it is a relatively simple fix in that when I find it, I can remove it, being that it's only one notification, but it is pretty annoying at this point. Now with all that said, one way to get the most out of this unit is by having good signal on your phone, because you can connect this unit to your phone, and if your phone has signal, then this has signal. And that's where my partner for this video, Mint Mobile, comes in, because you can join the nation's largest 5G mobile network for as little as $15 a month. And switching is a lot easier than most people may think, because you can do the entire thing online. So that means that you can do it from the comfort of wherever you are. It's not like you need to go to a physical store, turn in your phone for them to activate it or anything like that. It's It's all done online and that passes savings from not having those physical locations onto you. Now they do this by the use of a digital SIM card called eSIM, but say your phone is a little bit older or for whatever reason just not compatible with eSIM, they will send you a physical one free of charge. One of the perks is that every single plan they offer comes with unlimited talk and text plus lightning fast 5G and free mobile hotspot, which you can use with this unit to give it all the internet capabilities of a tablet. And if you don't want to do the switch alone, they do have family plans available with as little as 2 lines. If you're interested in reliable coverage and fast data for a fraction of the cost, go to trymintmobile.com/Dito to get started. Or you can scan this QR code right here. I want to give a big thank you to Mint. Now back to the video. Now switching to the 5 things I love about this unit. The first thing, it is very beginner friendly. I have never installed a head unit in my life, and wiring is something I don't really dig into very often, but the install of this unit was super easy even without an instruction manual because you're retaining a lot of the factory equipment, so it's basically just bolts, screws, and plugs, which I can deal with those all day. Number 2. CarPlay, Android Auto, and Google Play are all pre-installed on the unit, which means as soon as you get it up and running, all the daily driving aspects are ready to go. And with using Google Play, you can continuously download apps, adding more functionality, which is something that not every head unit has. Number 3, it is a very clear upgrade over the factory unit. It's a lot more responsive as well as a lot easier to connect to. With the factory unit, I found that at times connecting and reconnecting, it was a little inconsistent. There's a lot more consistency with this unit as well as usability, and you still have the factory setup if you want to use that as well. Number 4, the unit itself looks gorgeous. Now I wasn't going to add this one just because it felt a little subjective, but I really could not ignore it for the simple fact that it looks so fitting to the vehicle. It looks very OEM plus in my opinion. It fits so seamlessly with the dash, and on top of modernizing the functionality, it really modernizes the look, which is really notable because these units are not made for every vehicle. And lastly, a pretty big one that's not really talked about, there's a ton of room for customization and upgrades. Being that these units are pretty advanced, there are some people out there that are making firmware updates for these things to really fine-tune the usability, update the settings, and more than that, get rid of all the little bugs that you might be experiencing in your daily use. Being able to get an updated layout or even a custom one made for you is a pretty big deal, being that this is something you're going to interact with a lot when you're driving. It is really nice knowing that you're not locked into the options and the layout of how it's already configured. You can actually adjust that with these updates. So is this unit good or bad? Personally, I think the unit is good because it offers you more than just the issues you experience. I am working on getting a firmware update that should address all the issues that I have with the unit, and from there, we should be good to go. And just know, for the issues that I have experienced, I'm still dailing this car left and right, so it's really not detracting from the experience. The good far outweighs the bad in my opinion. But that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.